Joey Logano has had a season to forget, especially after he entered it defending the 2022 title. But he seems to have sent a harsh message towards NASCAR and how the sport can improve the popularity as well as the competition. Many fans and drivers disagreed with the 2022 champion, but it goes without saying that NASCAR is losing a lot of ground compared to the other racing categories in America, and something needs to change sooner rather than later. Will NASCAR listen to Logano's idea, and, if so, what changes could be implemented to make the racing even more interesting? Logano's 2023 season has seen a massive drop in the performance of his Ford, something that was not expected after he won the championship the previous year. The veteran's car was involved in a huge crash in Bristol during the playoffs in 2023, something that many fans believed wouldn't even be possible considering how inconsistent Logano was in the regular season. And unfortunately for the sport and Team Penske's fans, Logano didn't have enough points in order to continue in the second round. But it was obvious from day one that the Ford has had issues with which you cannot expect to compete for the championship, and one of the main reasons why is that the diffuser from 2022 is gone, and the downforce levels have just dropped severely. This is why Logano feels like changes are more than needed to the sport, and while there is more behind this according to the fans, as they believe Logano is trying to hide behind the fact that his team just couldn't get the car right for the current season, it does make sense for NASCAR to implement more changes and make the sport even more anticipated. When talking about this matter, Logano went on to say, "I think change the rules. Change the rules. Change the downforce levels, right? Like, take a bunch of downforce off of it, get rid of the diffuser. Oh boy, we're starting all over. Everybody's starting all over. That would be huge. That would be a massive change as far as car setup, and the fuel would be more spread out as far as speed and creates better racing. If you can change the rules every couple of years, something big like big rules change, I think that creates some separation in the field that ultimately creates better passes and racing, I think." The most interesting part about Logano's statement is that NASCAR actually stands as one of the most highly anticipated racing categories in the world, and unlike Formula One, the dominance of one team is almost never a guarantee in NASCAR. This has been proven with multiple champions changing from year to year, and that is what actually kept NASCAR so popular in its existence. Even though its core issues with the business model as well as the sponsorship funding have been very vocal and present in the past couple of years, and have made the owners threaten with a split. This is something that Logano has also spoken about, comparing NASCAR to Formula One and saying, "You don't want it to look like Formula One, where there's one car that's significantly faster than the rest of them, then you have the same winner every week." And when you put out the numbers in public, Logano and his team may look like they had a poor 2023 season, scoring the least wins out of the manufacturers in NASCAR, as Toyota and Chevrolet have dominated this season, with a Japanese manufacturer having 10 and the Chevys whopping an amazing 17 wins so far this season. While Ford won only 8 in 2023, Team Penske is nowhere near comparable to the championship candidates that JGR produced in 2023, such as Hamlin and Truex Jr., as well as Hendrick Motorsports and William Byron, who is currently leading the championship's playoffs bracket. Nonetheless, Logano made these statements in quite a tricky period of his career, more precisely, while having a season to forget. Things have only gone from bad to worse for him, and there was a time that Team Penske was not only the strongest Ford team, but one of the heavyweights in the Cup Series. Now, slowly but surely, the team started to lose its step compared to the giants like Joe Gibbs Racing as well as Hendrick Motorsports, so a rule change every now and then will definitely help Team Penske to get back on track. This is a bit strange because Logano did win a couple of races at the beginning of the season, such as the Daytona and the Atlanta courses, and back then he did seem like he had a car that could not only go deep in the championship, but even be a serious threat for yet another Cup Series championship. But the second half of the season and the playoffs have left a deep mark on Logano's ability to perform, and at the age of 33, you can only wonder whether or not Team Penske has what it takes to invest not only in his future, but the car as well. And the fact that these comments are deriving from Logano are no surprise at all. He has been a fighter for constant changes, even when he was in the winning circles of the championship. However, a massive drop like the one Team Penske had in 2023 has never been witnessed in the near history of the team, which might be a motive more to push towards these changes to happen in the first place. It is obvious that this is a straight dig at Team Penske's rivals, but whether or not it will benefit Logano's squad, time will tell. There are certain things that need to be discussed first, such as the mood of NASCAR regarding applying certain changes and whether or not it will make the sport more anticipated. NASCAR may have been on the back foot for quite some time, but that doesn't mean the sport isn't interesting to watch. It's just the way that it's been presented to its fans, as well as its investors, has been a little bit outdated, which is one of the main reasons why Formula One has taken such a huge boost in its popularity on the North American continent. NASCAR has tried to catch up with a similar move regarding their documentary on Netflix that is currently in the filming, but whether this will be a hit or not, time will tell. Their fan base is not really the one that would binge watch a show, which is exactly what happened with Drive to Survive and the period it became mostly popular, the COVID-19 lockdown. Regardless, the disappointment of Logano after being eliminated from the playoffs has been visible, and it goes without saying that this will leave a huge mark on his future trust with the car, and be that as it may, he may use this motivation as a fuel to actually implement changes in NASCAR and reclaim the title of America's most popular sport yet again. Elaborating on the Bristol crash and how that affected him personally as a driver, who has won the championship last year and has now dropped from the top 4 picture all of a sudden, Logano said, "Obviously, it's a real bummer. You get out of the race like that and you're behind the wall and you're in denial for a minute. You don't want to believe that it happened and you want to think that it's fixable, but the car was torn up too badly. There's nothing I could have done there in that wreck. It's just a product of being back there and the way we raced, or anything like that didn't affect that. The only thing that affected that is we were back there, so that's it. We are still the same team that won the championship last year. We're a little lost at the moment." Logano made quite strong points in his statements, and now it's up to us to wait and see whether he or his team will have an influential impact on NASCAR regarding the rule change. It's not something that can come overnight, especially not with how the sport has been acting regarding some structural problems that have been costing them a lot of notoriety among the fans and the investors. If NASCAR was reluctant to change the financial regulations of the sport, as well as make it more appealing for the outside world that has never been able to meet the business environment that the sport is offering, I doubt that they would be highly open to such a move regarding the rule changes. One reason why is that the sport already has different winners every race, and while there are a couple of teams fighting up front, there is always somebody who could make a surprising run, and therefore, I guess you could say, don't fix what's not broken. So, what do you think about Logano's shot towards NASCAR? Do you think that he made valid points regarding the rule changes, and if so, do you think the sport will actually listen to what Team Penske's driver had to say, or will all of his cries fall on deaf ears? Let us know in the comments below, and make sure to like and subscribe to our channel after you do so.